March 14, 2021, 2:18 a.m., Northern Virginia. Renee Parker is alone in the security room, the kind of quiet that makes you hear your own breathing. Monitors glow. It is a Sunday night shift, the shift people trade away, the shift where nothing happens until it does. A badge swipes. Not at the front door, not at the lobby, not at the loading dock. An internal door opens deep inside the building. Vault corridor. Cage 4C. Renee leans forward like her body already knows what her brain is about to admit. She zooms the camera feed. 3 contractors in gray uniforms. Helmets, gloves, a tool cart, a laptop bags. Clip and move with that calm, practiced rhythm of people who belong. But Renee has been here for years. She knows the night crews by posture, by pace, by the way they look down a hallway. This does not feel like maintenance. It feels like someone wearing the costume of maintenance. She checks the work order system. Nothing. She checks the contractor schedule. Empty. She pulls the badge ID, real name, real clearance. Then she checks the man tied to that badge, and her stomach drops. He is not in this building tonight. Renee picks up her phone and calls the on-call manager. No answer. She calls again and feels the small fear every worker knows, the fear of being the only one awake when the problem begins. Because if she is right, a countdown has started, and clocks do not care about your shift, your rent, your kids, your tired hands. Before we go deeper, take 1 second to like and subscribe. This is Sins and Lessons, and we tell the stories that hide in plain sight until one moment changes everything. From the outside, the facility is a plain box by the highway. No logo, no windows you can see into. Inside, it is all rules, badges, man-traps, cameras, 2-factor doors, paperwork that decides who is trusted and who is not. This place does not store cash. It stores keys. Invisible keys that can move money across the world, faster than any armored truck. The company is Harbor Point Custody. They hold assets for funds, firms, and clients who cannot afford a mistake. Their promise is simple: you cannot hack what you cannot touch. So the most valuable keys live in cold storage, locked behind cages, protected by multiple approvals, timed steps, and logs that remember every decision. That is the comfort they sell. And tonight, Renee is watching that comfort walk down a hallway. On the monitor, the 3 move deeper into Cage 4C. The clipboard guy leads, calm, measured. Like he has done this 100 times, call him Ely. Behind him is the muscle, pushing the tool cart with both hands, shoulders squared, eyes forward. Call him Marcos. And last is the quiet one carrying the laptop bag close to her chest like it is fragile. Call her Nina. If you pass them in a hallway, you would not think criminals. You would think night crew. People doing a job so the rest of us can sleep. Renee has worked enough graveyard shifts to recognize a lie by body language. She knows the hum of servers, the sting of fluorescent light, the way your phone feels heavier at 3 a.m. She also knows how it feels to report a problem and be told you are overreacting. She keeps staring at the badge log. The badge is real. The clearance is real. The name is real. But the person tied to that badge is not here. She pulls a second screen, a routine contractor verification ping. The phone tied to the badge is far away, miles from this building. A man cannot be 2 places at once. That is the first lie. Renee calls the on-call manager again, straight to voicemail. She looks at the corridor, then at her own reflection in the dark glass of the monitor.
Manager,
she would rather be embarrassed than be silent. She opens the internal channel and types fast. Vault corridor activity, verify work order, please confirm. No reply. She tries another channel. No reply. This is what the Sunday shift feels like. A lonely room, cold coffee, and 1,000 people asleep while you carry the weight of their safety. On camera, Ely stops at a locked cabinet inside the cage. Marcos rolls the cart into position. Nina sets the laptop bag on the desk, careful, almost gentle. Ely angles the clipboard toward the camera, like he wants the footage to look clean later, normal, routine. Then the audio feed catches it. A small sound, clean and metallic. Click. Not a door. A lock. A cabinet opening. Renee feels her throat tighten, because she knows what sits in cabinets like that. Not tools, not spare parts, keys. And in this world, keys do not open rooms. They open money. 30 million is not a stack of bills. It is not a duffel bag. It is a line that becomes real only when the right device signs it. One approval, one signature, one moment where the system agrees. That is why these places feel so safe. Everything is slow. Everything is deliberate. Every step is timed, logged, witnessed. So if someone plans to move value fast, they do not break the vault. They find a shortcut in the process. They borrow normal. They wear it like a uniform. And right now, in that quiet corridor, someone is trying to make the system say yes. Earlier that week, Harbor Point scheduled an audit. Nothing dramatic, nothing cinematic. Just a calendar invite that usually means boring mornings and stale conference room coffee. Compliance checks, seal verification, routine validation runs, the kind of thing executives point to when they say, "We are safe." But audits do something dangerous. They create temporary permission. To prepare for an audit, people loosen the system just a little. Doors open more often, devices get staged. Steps get pre-approved so the morning goes faster. Nobody calls it a weakness, they call it efficiency. And in America, efficiency is a religion. Renee knows this. She has watched enough procedures to understand how a fortress becomes flexible. She thinks about the clients behind these numbers, retirement funds, family offices, people who will never see this hallway but trust it with their future. She thinks about her own life too, rent due, a daughter sleeping at home, and how one bad night can erase years of careful work. She also knows the building takes a reconciliation snapshot at 3:00 a.m., a heartbeat. A frozen picture of what is true at that moment. If anything moves before that snapshot, it gets recorded cleanly. If it moves after, it can hide inside the noise of a new day. Now the math is brutal. The first badge swipe was 2:18 a.m. The snapshot is 3:00 a.m. That gives them 41 minutes. Not a whole night. Not even an hour. A narrow window where speed matters more than stealth. On camera, Eli steps into the key station inside Cage 4C, a small sealed room, no windows, a desk, a camera, a cabinet with a signing unit inside, the device that can turn intention into a real transfer. He does something almost tender. He lifts the clipboard and holds it up to the camera, steady, centered, like a worker proving he followed the rules, like he is writing their future alibi in real time. Marco stays near the door, listening. Nina opens her laptop, then stops. All three pause, eyes down, bodies still. They are waiting, not for a guard to pass, not for a door to unlock. They are waiting for approval, for a green light that can only come from someone who already belongs here. Somewhere above them, someone is one click away from turning a routine audit into a perfect theft. Renee gets the on-call manager at 2:33 a.m. His voice is thick with sleep, the voice of a man pulled out of a warm bed into a cold problem. Renee does not waste time. 3 contractors are in vault corridor, Cage 4C. No work order, no schedule, a pause. Then the sentence lands, quiet and heavy. They should not be there. Renee feels relief for half a second, because being believed matters. Then the fear returns, sharper. She thinks about the families who trust this building without knowing its name. She thinks about her own life,
Look,
the rent, the
I know
morning
it's late,
commute,
but
the
the
way
numbers
one
don't
bad
lie.
night can become a headline
We
that
have to
ruins
finalize
people
the
who never
acquisition
touched a
tonight,
keyboard.
or we lose
She says it
everything.
anyway. We lock
They're
down.
inside.
Now. And the
Repeat,
manager
they are
hesitates.
in the main corridor.
Not because he
We
does
need
not
backup
understand the risk.
immediately.
He does. He understands careers too. A lockdown means alarms, cameras flagged, supervisors woken, executives dragged into calls before sunrise. If this is a false alarm, someone will blame the person who made it loud. That is the small cruelty of modern work. Silence feels safer than action until it is too late. Renee waits, listening to his breathing on the line, while the countdown keeps running. Here is the trap. This system is not beaten by force. It is beaten by permission. Doors open when the process says yes. Devices unlock when the workflow is approved. Money moves when a routine step becomes a real signature. You do not need to crack the vault if you can convince the vault that you belong. At 2:43 a.m., Nina finally starts typing, not frantic, not panicked. Calm clicks like she is filling out a form. Eli opens the cabinet. The signing unit comes out, sealed and small, the kind of object that looks boring until you remember what it controls. He holds it up to the camera again, steady, centered, building a clean story for later. Marcos keeps watch at the door, still, listening for footsteps that never come. Then they all pause, just for a beat, like they are waiting for a final nod from someone who is not in the room. Somewhere upstairs, a console receives a request that looks harmless. A checkbox, a confirmation, a routine approval during audit prep. One click, and the machine agrees. A soft electronic chime follows, the kind of sound every office worker knows, the sound that says your request went through. Approved. At 2:46 a.m., cold storage signs a real transaction. 30 million in value leaves the safe place, not in one obvious chunk, but split across multiple destinations, like water poured into dry sand. Renee sees the outbound alert. Her eyes jump to the label, and that label is poison. Audit validation routine. Normal, expected routine. The system is telling anyone who glances at it to keep moving, to trust the process, to not ask questions. Renee does the opposite. Her hands shake as she opens more screens. She knows what she is watching. A theft dressed up as compliance. A disaster that looks like a checkbox. And the worst part is how clean it looks. like the building itself is helping them. At 2:55 a.m., the badge swipes out. Clean, normal, no alarm, no flashing lights, no panic in the hallway. The three contractors walk like they just finished a checklist. Ely keeps the clipboard in frame one last time. Marcos rolls the tool cart back out. Nina carries the laptop bag close, careful like she is protecting something fragile. They do not run, because running is a confession. At 2:58 a.m., the van leaves the parking lot. The camera catches it for only a few seconds, headlights washing over wet asphalt, then gone into the dark. No sirens, no chase. Just a quiet Sunday morning and a building that still believes everything is fine. Renee watches the time tick forward, feeling that sick helplessness every normal person feels when the system moves slower than the threat. She wants to reach through the screen and stop them. She cannot. All she can do is push people who are half awake to make a decision they are scared to make. The lockdown finally hits at 3:07 a.m. Doors clamp shut. Access is revoked. Teams move through corridors with radios and flashlights, checking cages, checking cabinets, checking seals. The building becomes what it was always supposed to be, a fortress. And that is when the real horror shows itself. Everything looks perfect. The cameras work. The locks are intact. The logs are clean. No broken hinges. No forced entry. No shattered glass. Just procedures followed to the letter. Security searches for something obvious, a tool mark, a cut wire, a smashed keypad. They find nothing that satisfies the human need for a clear villain. Because the villain did not kick the door in. The villain walked through the front door with a borrowed identity and a calm face. Now the question changes. It is not how did they get in. They were on camera the whole time. It is not how did they avoid alarms. There were no alarms to avoid. The real question is the one nobody wants to ask out loud, because it points inward. Who let the process say yes? Because approvals do not happen by accident. A routine label does not appear by magic. A fortress does not sign a 30 million transfer unless someone, somewhere, gave it permission to behave. By morning, Harbor Point has two problems. One is the missing money. The other is the missing trust. Clients will call, partners will ask, someone will demand a timeline, and every honest sentence will hurt. So the company does what companies do when truth is expensive. They wrap it in soft words. Security incident. Review underway. Enhance controls. They speak in fog, because fog buys time, and time is the only thing that can keep panic from becoming a stampede. Behind closed doors, the hunt begins. Not for a hacker in a hoodie, but for an insider with access, with motive, with one quiet click that turned a routine audit into a perfect theft. By sunrise, the investigators stop looking for broken doors and start looking for broken identity. They pull the badge photo tied to the swipe. It does not match Allie. Not the jawline, not the eyes, not the age. The badge was real, the person was not. They pull contractor records, and the names that mattered are missing. No payroll, no HR file, no past visits. Allie, Marcos, Nina, they are ghosts. Then they follow the van. The plate is valid. The registration is clean. Too clean. It points to a small company that exists on paper and nowhere else, a shell built to hold a vehicle and take the blame. A normal-looking detail that collapses the moment you touch it. That is when the real method becomes obvious. They did not infiltrate as employees. They infiltrated as assumptions. They walked in wearing what everyone expects to see at 2 a.m., a night crew, a maintenance team, people who do not make you ask questions. They used the oldest loophole in American security culture, the belief that if someone looks busy and holds a clipboard, they must belong. And while the building argues over approvals, the money does what modern money does. It moves. Fast, quiet. Through a chain of wallets, then into services that blur ownership, then into exchanges that turn value into noise. Every hop adds fog. Every minute makes the trail colder. This kind of heist does not win with violence, it wins with time. If you can delay long enough, identity dissolves. Proof gets expensive. Doubt grows. So what happened to Eiley, Marcos, and Nina? 3 theories live in the space where certainty dies. Theory 1, they got away. New names, quiet apartments, small lives that never attract attention. 30 million sounds like a kingdom, but it is also a curse. You cannot spend it fast. You cannot celebrate it loud. You have to live like a shadow forever. Theory 2, they did not get away. Not because of police. Because someone else is always watching. In this world, the most dangerous people do not file reports. They collect debts. If the wrong group lost money, the thieves may have been erased before the week ended. Theory 3, this was never about the money. It was a message. A demonstration. A proof that the fortress is theater, that process can be weaponized. That trust can be signed away with one quiet click. Because the most expensive thing in finance is not a transfer. It is confidence. And that is the lesson. The thing that really got stolen was not 30 million. It was the feeling that someone is in control. If you want more stories like this, like and subscribe to Sins and Lessons. It helps this channel grow, and it tells the algorithm you want the truth, not the noise. Now tell me in the comments, do you think they were outsiders who played the system? Or do you think the real criminal was already inside the building, waiting for the moment to say yes?